G'day everyone, welcome back to another video. And in this video I'm out here in the snow in the high country, and I'm going to spend the night out here with no tent and no sleeping bag. I want to make a survival shelter, get a big fire going, keep myself warm for the night because it's going to be cold, and it's just a beautiful landscape at the moment, so it's going to be a good video. Stick around. Because I'm trying to scout out a good location to be able to set up this shelter. Now what I'm looking for is both a lot of dead wood and that I can use to get a heap of firewood. I want a little bit of shelter as well, so I've got somewhere to kind of tie up my shelter. I'll get my shelter ready. And I am going to do a bit of a scout because it'd be good to find a big granite rock or something. I don't know if there is any around. I'll have a bit of a look, but granite rock would be great for reflecting the heat off. So I'm just going to have a little bit of a scout along the edges here and see what I can find, if I can find the best spot to set up for tonight. Decent coverage. All right, I've just found this. And I like the idea of this because it could potentially reflect some of the heat off. Could kind of could lay right here, have a fire right here. And yeah, the only thing is the smoke from the fires would be blowing right into me. This could be a potentially good little spot right here. I'll keep looking. So I've come to another log here, and I think I'm going to opt for this log. A couple of reasons why. I'm out of the wind. Because that valley I was in, it's beautiful, but if wind comes up that valley in the night, it's just going to be on me, and you do not want to wind chill out in the snow. It'll be beautiful in the evening on sunset and sunrise to walk out to that valley and have a look, but this is much more tucked into the trees. And this log here, right, I could easily lay here. I'm going to get a little bit of reflection of heat off that. I can find a way to string up a wax canvas tarp over me, so I've just got a little bit of shelter. I won't be directly under the I won't have direct exposure to the night sky, and plenty of dead wood that I can use as firewood. So it's about 1 o'clock now, so I'm going to get cracking into it. Well, here we are, everyone. Out for another bushcraft camp out in the snow. I'm really looking forward to this. Now, this kind of camp is probably inspired more by the American pioneers, the American mountain men, who, you know, would often be out in weather like this and be caught out and have to quickly whip up a little shelter to get through the night. Now, in regards to our own history, you're not going to have old fellas wandering out in the bush like this by themselves when it's snowing up in the high country. Most of them would be off the mountain during the winter months, down in the valleys. They'd be in huts and cabins and things like that. So they weren't really wandering up here in the mountains during this time. But let's come up with an imaginary situation. Let's say it's earlier in the year and an early blizzard has come through unexpectedly. A stock party grazing their cattle has been caught out in the storm, and maybe one of the stockmen, he was, you know, out there and got lost in the fog, and maybe his horse bolted, and all he has with him is the stuff that he was carrying on his horse. You know, this is not entirely historically accurate. They have a saddlebag as opposed to a backpack, things like that. But this is still all materials: canvas, wool, sheepskin, cotton, things like leather that the old timers would have had. I don't have modern gear here with me. I don't have a sleeping bag. I don't have a tent. I don't have anything like that. Now let's say it's getting late in the evening and I don't know where I am. I'm lost. I don't have my horse. I've got to hunker down for the night. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a little shelter here and gather as much firewood as I can. This should reflect a bit of this should reflect a little bit of heat off the fire, hopefully. And so first things first is to try and get a shelter going. And what I'm going to be doing for using as a shelter is my Jack Stillman wax canvas poncho. So first things first, I've got to whip something up here. Now, silky saws obviously came from Japan, but the Bushmen would have had old saws that they could have used. So what I'll do first, I'm going to build up here a little snow wall, so if any breeze does come from that way, it won't come at my back. Frying pan. Shelter. I'll show you what I have in my bedroll here. I'm using the new Jack Stillman, I think it's called the Ranekin tarp. I can't remember the exact name of it. I'll put it in the, I'll put it on the screen, but this is their new wax canvas tarp. Look, I was going to use this as the main tarp, but it doesn't have tie-off points here, so it will work good as an A-frame shelter tarp, or basically as a ground sheet, which is what I'm going to use it for. Yeah, and this will basically, the poncho, the drifter poncho is going to be the shelter. Now, in here, I have a wool blanket from Pendleton. I have 2 sheepskins. Now, I don't plan to use any of this as blankets. This is all insulation. I don't have a sleeping bag. I don't have a blanket to put over me. This is all purely insulation to, yeah, basically keep me off the cold ground. Now, you might be asking, like a lot of the Canadian guys and stuff like that, they get heaps of leaves. You know, I think it's called spruce, the spruce pine or whatever. It's really good and heaps of insulation. The problem in Australia is you're not allowed to cut down any green stuff, anything that's living. So I can't cut down this green stuff that's around me and place it under me for a bed. Now I could probably make a raised bed out of wood. Yeah, that's something I might do if I've got time, if I see later after I've collected all my firewood. But this should be enough to keep the cold snow and the cold coming up from underneath me. And that's actually really, really good. If I do get a bit of dripping there, I have the ability to cover myself like that off the log, just in case it does get a bit wet. But there we go. That's pretty cool. All right. Now, if anyone's wondering, I'm actually in state forest right now, which means I have more freedoms to kind of do this and have a fire out here where I want. National parks are a lot stricter, although the Alpine National Park is pretty good with what you can do. But yeah, because I'm in state forest, I'm much more able to do this kind of setup. Awesome. Now for firewood, what I want to do is get nice long dead bits of wood. So this is a dead branch that's on the ground, a dead tree that's fallen, but you get branches like this that have yeah, basically they're hanging out, so they're not touching the ground. I mean, it's still wet wood, it's gonna smoke, but it's not as wet as the stuff that's been sitting in the ground. So yeah, I'm gonna get a bunch of stuff like this. A bunch of good dry wood there to get the fire going. Also, I want to get a heap of these. Now, I did bring some creature comforts from home. Just chuck them in the chili bin, the esky. That'll be for later. Look at this, a branch, dead gum tree that fell, and it's dried, and this is completely dry. That is definitely going to help in getting the fire going. To find dry, dead eucalyptus leaves that is just full of oil, that'll really help. I'm not going to lie, I'm buggered. Should be okay, but I think I'm almost there. Look, I'd rather have too much wood for tonight than too little. All right, surely that's enough wood. And you see at the back here, I did spend a bit of time just building up that ice wall, just so there's no cold air coming through that gap. And I do believe, look, if it does drizzle or rain tonight, it should run. There's a natural kind of slope off the tarp down to there. It shouldn't pool anywhere, which is good. All the water should run naturally off to that point. I should be dry even if we do get a little bit of a rain. Look, forecast is pretty good. I wouldn't be doing this kind of a shelter in a blizzard if we had blizzard weather coming in. We did have a blizzard a few days ago, which is why we got this big dump of snow, and now we're getting some nice clear weather. But when it's clear, it often gets colder because it's clear sky. It can get down to -6. So it will be cold tonight, but at least I should be dry, and with the fire going I should be warm. So I'm pretty stoked with that. Now I'm thinking there's an awesome plain over here. I might go for a little bit of a walk and check out that plain because it looks really, really cool. Wow. No more mucking around. It's 4 o'clock. It'll be dark in a good hour's time. Now, it could take me a good hour just to get a fire going. So I'm going to dedicate the next hour to doing exactly that. I'm making it easy on myself tonight. A little fibrous fire starter and some matches. And there's not a breath of wind at the moment, so that is helpful. So far so good, but the challenge is really to just get something big going, you know? While that's going, I thought I'd just go over what I'm actually wearing out here. Now, besides the boots are rubber waterproof snow boots, okay? But besides that, I'm wearing a lot of heritage material. So under layer, under both here, I'm wearing the hemp and cotton blend undergarments by Peak Oil Company. And having cotton underneath is really good as a base layer. Then on top of that, I've got my woolen shirt from Pendleton, which is really nice, and my woolen pants under this, which I'll be wearing tonight. These are oilskin, so basically cotton oilskin overpants. I've just been wearing these while I'm moving around in the bush getting wet. I'll take these off tonight and just have the cotton on. I probably don't need this because there's no wind. It acts as a good wind layer. Now tonight I'll be wearing possum and merino knit over this. That should be enough to keep me warm with this fire going as well. All right. Alright everyone, so I want to show you what I've got for dinner tonight. Now I've got multiple servings of something that I'm looking forward to. Now a few videos back I talked about how we have a lot of sambar on the property, and I showed some footage of a big sambar that's been hanging around our paddocks, the property I live on, over the last weeks or so. Now, a good family friend who's a hunter came out, and I've been going out with him at night time, and a few times. It's been really fun just kind of stalking the deer and watching what they're doing. And anyway, he managed to get that big sambar stag, and it was a beauty. And yeah, it was really cool experience for me. This is my second time now learning to harvest the meat, process the meat, hang it up for a few days to cool, and then just learning how to butcher it and, you know, cut it into different cuts and stuff like that. So I've got a long way still to go, but I feel a lot more confident now in regards to processing the meat. I know lots of different opinions out there on the best way to process the meat to make it taste the best. But anyway, I have here a bunch of backstrap steaks, and the whole idea of these backstrap steaks is there's so many of them that I'm going to be cooking throughout the night. You know, I might wake up cold at midnight and feel like a snack, because a bit of meat tastes pretty good when you're hungry and when you're cold. So I am going to cook up a few steaks now just because it's light and it's going to get dark very soon. A little bit of soy sauce, I mean, kind of cheating. I know a bushman's not going to have soy sauce out in the bush, but hey, why not give myself something a little bit nice. They look good. One of my beers. And it's amazing how much this sambar tastes like beef. The only issue I have with it is it's a bit tough. Now, that's okay with me because I lived in Uganda for 10 years and the steak over there for the local cows was often quite tough. So I'm used to it. But I wonder if there is ways you can soften the meat. Tenderizing it, I don't know. It's still bloody good though. A stranded stockman probably wouldn't have a VB and venison on him. Luke from the Outdoor Boys used to say that he doesn't mind being cold and he doesn't mind being hungry, but he doesn't like being both. So since this is a cold camp and I will be cold, I thought I don't want to be hungry. I guess it's time to settle in for this long night. But I might have myself a pot. Dry socks here that I'm going to chuck on because my feet are cold, but I might get them warm on the fire first. Oh, ow. So I'm just chilling here, and before I heard something big crashing through the bushes. So maybe kangaroo, or most likely just deer if it's, you know, something big sambar. But just before I heard some howling from wild dogs somewhere in the distance. I hate that sound, it's always so spooky, but now I've got a big fire here next to me. That's pretty good. Should ward them off, and then I've got me knife there. Second dinner. Yum. I'm going to try and get some sleep. Had my last beer. It's a full moon. It's getting a bit cold now. Clear sky. And I might have a cook up later in the night. We'll see how we go, but yeah, alright. Oh, it's cold when that fire. Okay, I need to get this fire cranking. Okay. It's currently midnight. I thought I might have a midnight beer and a midnight steak. What do you reckon? Well, cheers everyone. I've still got about 6.5 hours to get through this night. Some possums over there checking me out. Wonder if they can smell my food. Oh, good morning. Not a bad sleep. Not too cold either. A lot of the Canadian audiences and the Europeans will always laugh and say, oh, you don't know anything about the cold. And it's true, because we just don't get those like minus 20, minus 30s that Canada does. But the problem with our snow in Australia is that because daytime temperatures often sit around 2, sometimes even up to 4 degrees up in the mountain, the snow just melts a lot and it gets so wet. And even at night, you know, it might drop down to minus 5 here in this area at the most, but the snow is quite wet. And that's the issue with our snow in Australia, is that you really got to make sure you keep yourself dry, because once you get drenched through to the bone and it's cold, you're in danger of hypothermia. I was really good. I was really insulated though. These sheep skins from Peak Oil were really good. Kept the cold off, and just wearing wool, you know. Yeah, it's a lovely feeling. Trying to put my boots on, but they're frozen. And you leave your water bottle sitting like that overnight, because it freezes from the top down. Cheers everyone to a good night. Getting through it. And and I love doing these survival kind of camps in the snow. Again, it makes it hard what I can do. I'm quite limited here in Victoria, in Australia, because of our laws around what you can cut down and what you can't, compared to some of these Canadian guys who build these beautiful shelters out of, you know, wood and with insulation from green stuff, and I just can't do that, which is why I bring out my own shelter. Unless it was private property, I can do that kind of stuff on private property, but usually private property is not up in the snow line. I'm just lucky that there is this state forest here that reaches up into the snow line, so I've got the freedom to do this, at least make a fire wherever I want, and collect firewood and stuff like that. So well everyone, that's it for me. I'm off to try and find my horse that bolted, or find the stock grazing party, or worst case scenario, I walk back to the direction of our little hut that we're staying in. Well, that's my imaginary situation anyway. Otherwise guys, thanks for watching. Please like the video, leave a comment and subscribe if you haven't. Plenty more adventures to come this year. Have a good one.